Hello and welcome. I want to talk about a few quick things in this video. Um, I want to talk about this saw. It's a really good saw. I'm going to talk about that in a second though, because I want to talk about the cost of bushcraft. Um, People seem to think that you have to buy the most expensive gear or a lot of gear, and that's simply not the case. Um, you can very easily make do with cheap gear. This paddle, for example, I made this paddle myself, and I made it using a belt knife, a buck knife that I have, one of the cheaper Chinese buck knives, which I love that knife. I made it using that buck knife and a $5 hatchet that I picked up. Actually, my grandmother picked up from a garage sale. This is my go-to paddle. This is a perfectly good working paddle. It's an amazing paddle, actually. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video. Um, Not to toot my own horn or anything, but talking about real bushcraft, I crafted a perfectly usable paddle using very cheap material. So point is, don't spend a lot of money. Exhibit A, Baco Force bow saw. This is the 30-inch variant. It is longer than my torso. This is the size that I believe a bushcraft survival backcountry saw should be. I want to be able to cut through large logs if I need to. I also want to make short work of thinner logs. Why spend double the energy using a blade that's only this long, like the Baco Laplander or the Silky Gomboy, etc., when you can just make quick work with a large saw. I maintain that the best bushcraft saw is a chainsaw, um, but I'm not going to bring that this time. I have done so before. I've brought a chainsaw canoe camping with me. Just take down a tree, chop it up, and you're done. Anyway, I didn't want to rip on folding saws, but this is a lot cheaper than a folding saw. Folding saw, 2-3 times the price that this costs. This one goes for $30 Canadian. I got it for free, but that's a different story. There's not much to say. Why do I prefer this saw to a folding saw? Firstly, there's the cost. To buy a folding saw with a 30-inch blade, well, go look it up. It's ridiculous, the prices, in my opinion. It is. One piece of gear for $200-300 doesn't make sense to me. This is incredibly lightweight. It's very light. I don't even notice this on my backpack. I put it over a shoulder, you can carry it easily. So the whole concept that a folding saw has to fit in your pocket, to me at least, it doesn't really hold validity for the argument of purchasing one of these. Last night, look, I was cutting logs that were about this thick. Okay, not very thick, but doing it with this, and it made short work of it. The J's are out. Point is, if you're looking for a folding saw or a new bushcraft saw, I recommend checking out your local hardware store and looking for a bow saw. Or maybe you have one in your garage. The blades are very cheap to replace. They are strong. It's hard to lose. They're lightweight. I recommend it. I'm just gonna cut through this for funsies, for demonstration wise. I don't know. You know what? That's a really ugly piece. And I cut through it over here. There we go. Oh, another good thing is that this, you can use one-handed, and you can also use it two-handed if you want to. You get the idea. Anyway, it's a good saw.